Hello, this is Brian Bratcher with B&L PC Solutions again. Just wanted to take a moment and share with you a new partnership that we've engaged into with a company called Threatlocker. As most of our clients know, um, we've really tightened up our security stack and security offerings, and we've offered you endpoint protection, endpoint security. We have a SOC solution, a security operations center, staffed 24/7, that monitors all of your logging traffic inbound to your networks. We just wanted to introduce you to another product that we just think is remarkable and adds a level of protection and control. To me personally, it's kind of unprecedented. It's a level that we've been unable to accomplish easily without using a bunch of other products to try to come up with something similar. And honestly, the smaller stack of services that they just don't come close to what this product can do. The product is called Threatlocker, and Threatlocker is it's a basically a zero trust um, policy driven solution that gets installed on all of your endpoints, servers, workstations, laptops. Doesn't matter if they're in the office, out of the office. We install the application in a matter of seconds through our software distribution tool, and we do what's called a baseline. We gather information from that endpoint for 5 to 7 days. We parse through all the data collected from those the logs and all the activity on that endpoint, and then it all gets kind of just filtered down into predefined policies and some custom policies that we may have to add in order to give you an additional layer of protection. But in a nutshell, I don't want to get too granular here. Think of it like we can now control down to the endpoint level, and by endpoint we're talking simply workstation, laptop, server. We can control application policies and storage policies, which on the storage policy side, that's a big one of our big security risks is that we try to enforce is USB protection, right? USB protection, server protection. So regarding USB protection, there's a couple of different options that we have deployed at different clients. One of them is group policies. You create a group policy and you put the computers into that policy, and that policy can restrict or deny USB. And that's your limitation, right there. It's either a yes or a no. And if you come across somebody that may need access one day and may not the next, it's just one of those things that it becomes difficult to manage. It's doable, but it becomes difficult to manage. Another option is using some type of endpoint protection software, such as your antivirus software, and you can filter it that way. But you're still limited to a more of a yes or no type scenario. So Threatlocker helps address that problem that we've seen, and secondly, the application level is the amount of control you have is just remarkable. So let me just show you. Really spend 5 minutes on the product and just show you a quick once over on what it can do. So I'm on a desktop here, and as you can see, very vanilla desktop. I don't even have Office installed on this. Just have Chrome, Edge, and I put a program called Notepad++. Notepad++ is basically an enhanced Notepad viewer. It's very similar to the Windows built-in Notepad application, except it does has a lot more features to it, right? And I'm just using that as an example of an application outside the normal scope of applications, right? So what we can do here is we log into our Threatlocker portal as the administrator, right? And from here, you can see we have different filters that we can apply these policies to. So we can go entire organization, which would be my entire company. We can go global, which goes because they only sell to partners. So with a partner, we can go a step above that and go global. So saying everybody at the top level and all of our clients below it would follow this policy and get granular down to the server or workstation level. So if you look here, I have a policy applied to our entire organization, which is just being LPC, and we have these applications here that are we're permitting, as you can see on the right here for the action. So if I want to take Notepad Plus, for example, and I want to let's say that there's a bug in the application, or the management doesn't want people using it, and think of it as an application that in your company that you don't want your staff to be using, right? So what I simply can do is I can open up that policy, and so should this policy permit a deny execution? So it's permitting it. So if I simply go deny and save it, and then I click here to deploy the policy, and what that means is it's pushing down that policy. It only takes up to 60 seconds. It's pushing down that policy to all the endpoints within the filter that you've defined here, and it's applying that criteria of that policy to each endpoint. So the result on the end user side is we get out of this, and we still have the icon here because the application's been installed, and we see that. So the end user experience is they're going to go to Notepad++, they're going to double click on it, and boom, you get this. So with that, we've, in a matter of seconds, and you could think of this if it was deployed on 100 workstations or 500 workstations, and you wanted to just kill that or any other application, that quickly, we've just stopped that from running, okay? Now, one step beyond that is we have a list of approved applications here, right? So this is specific to our organization that we've kind of tweaked and customized based on that baseline that we run. So we've approved and are permitting, except for Notepad+. We're denying that one, and we're going to go ahead and allow that one again, just to show you how quickly it works. Permit that, save, and deploy. But at the higher level up, at the global level, you'll see that there's other applications here that everybody at the higher level can use. So once they use that, then we'll be able to allow these applications to funnel through at all the other clients. And so at the global workstation level, you're going to see, again, so this is global for all of our clients. So we're kind of breaking it down. We know everybody needs Chrome and needs Chrome updated, Office, Acrobat, right? Those are, and Firefox, and anything else that needs to be added to it, we can add to it. The nice thing about this is if you look at Microsoft Office, for example, the Office application out of the box, after it's installed, it can do whatever any Excel macro, any type of execution or requests that come into the Office platform, it will run it natively, right? So what we do with this application is we're as you can see here, we're ring fencing all of this stuff here. So Google Chrome is running ring fenced, Acrobat's running ring fenced, Office ring fenced. So what does that mean? So when we look under the hood here, we're saying that we're permitting Office we're permitting it to run, right? But we're ring fencing it. So and defined here, we're blocking interaction with the following applications. So we're not allowing Office to go out to Windows PowerShell, right? Which is how a lot of malware and ransomwares and viruses are trying to, whether they're sitting dormant with a timeout, they're waiting to run. We're stopping it because we're not letting it go into PowerShell. We're not letting it go into a command prompt or scripts or the registry. So we're blocking all that. And here's a description here up top. So we're stopping it from accessing dangerous applications such as PowerShell, command prompt. This is useful to prevent vulnerabilities, allowing a website to run fileless attacks. So that's what happens. A lot of this stuff comes in, and we'll use the inherent permissions from Office to self-execute and cause damage. This stops that right off the bat. That can't happen. The end user doesn't even know it because the application, the end user experience is identical to the way it should be. So there's no risk there. And we can give you a more detailed explanation, even do a trial for you guys so you can see how to use this, how the application interacts with your company, and immediately see the benefits of it. The second thing I want to show you quickly is storage control. Storage control is what we talked about earlier, the USB access, right? How do you block that? What can you do to make things easier for the end user, but still not compromise any security, right? Ideally, the answer is no. You can't have any USBs, but in today's world, I mean, it's become commonplace for some businesses to do business on on USB sticks, and we get that. So we have policies here. So what we do by default is audit USB workstations, right? So with this policy, as soon as anybody plugs in a USB stick into a computer, it's denied, right? It's denied read and write access, right? So they can't do anything with it. So now we have this checkbox that we have checked. Allow the user to request permission when blocked. That will allow the user, when it's blocked, they'll get a little pop-up in the corner to request permission to use this USB device. And within 5 seconds, we will get an email, both an email and it'll pop up in our portal that so-and-so end user is requesting permission for this USB. We will have policies in place with our contacts at our clients and find out who is able to access USBs. Maybe it's only certain people for a certain amount of time. But what we can do is we can go ahead and approve that request based on the user's criteria. If they fall in and we're going to request it, we would approve that policy in real time. We'd hit approve. The end user would try it again and put that USB back in, and it would launch, no problem. We could tell them that they only are going to use encrypted devices. So if the firm only wants them to use encrypted devices, they could plug in a non-encrypted one. We could approve it. It's still not going to work because it has to be an encrypted device. So that you can get pretty granular with this. Now, do I want to have it expire? Let's say it's just for today. Okay, we're going to allow it to run for an hour or 2 hours. So you're not tied to having to remember when to restrict that access again. And so you can get that granular and then go down to the workstation level. I'll give you an example. On my computer here, I have these USB devices that I've already approved that I know I'm permitted to use, right? So if I plug any one of these USBs in, they're working for me. Anything else I plug in, I'm going to get a prompt and it's going to have to be approved. We could do the same thing at the server level with shares on a server. So we do permissions, as you guys know. So some people may have permission to accounting. Some people have permission to sales. Some people have permission to marketing and other data. We can now go one step further than that. And we can say anybody in your company that doesn't have Threatlocker installed on it is denied access in its entirety. So it's similar to a network access control solution, because if a rogue device, laptop from home comes in, plugs into your network, it's not getting onto anything because Threatlocker is not installed on it. It's denied zero trust by default. So if you guys want some more information, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm excited about the product. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a game changer for us, and we have it on probably, I'm going to say, 200 endpoints right now, and it's been remarkable from police departments to security companies and all accounting firms. It's been great, and the user, like I said, the user interaction is minimal because we've already approved the applications. The only time we hear from somebody may be for a USB request, which happened last week, and we've gotten around that because we had the approval process in place. So please feel free to reach out to me, and we can give you some more color on this, and looking forward to work with you. Thanks.